Hi, good morning. This sum is related to another technique of solving the LPP, where we are going to learn the technique called the Chance Big M method or method of penalties. In the last video we have learned how to solve the LPP with the help of simplex method. Here we are going to learn how to solve the LPP with the help of Big M method. It is simply called Big M method, also called penalty method. So this sum we will be solving today, and the sum says it is a maximization problem with a mixed sign in the constraints. These are called mixed constraint sum, where we are seeing that the maximization z value is 3x1 plus 2x2, which are subject to the constraints 2x1 plus x2 less or equals to 2, 3x1 plus 4x2 greater or equals to 12, and x1 and x2 greater or equals to 0. Now here we can see that both greater than and lesser than sign are there. So it means we cannot simply bring the slack variable s1 and s2 and put a positive sign and go on solving using the simplex method. There has to be something else we need to do. What are those something else? We need to bring some more variables only other than the slack variable. They are called the surplus and the artificial variable. So what we write? We write by introducing the slack variable, surplus variable and artificial variable, the LPP can be reformulated as, now here we do not write the objective function first. I told you in the first technique also, first we will write the constraints, then we formulate the objective. So here in the first constraint it is simply less or equals to. So here we can simply bring s1 as the slack variable and put a plus sign and remove this lesser than sign and write equals to 2. So what we will write? We will write 2x1 plus x2 plus s1 equals to 2. But what will happen to the second constraint? It has a greater than sign, right? So for this what we will do is, I told you that since the left hand side is less in here, so we are adding it, adding the slack variable. But when the left hand side is more than the right hand side, we need to deduct something or not? We need to deduct something. So when we are deducting something, that something will be represented by S2, obviously it will be represented by S2, but that variable will no longer be called the slack variable, it will be called a surplus variable. The variable which we are deducting is called a surplus variable. So we write 3x1 plus 4x2 minus S2. Now we do not know about this, we know till this one. Now see, here is a minus sign. Since the concept of identity matrix formulation is there cannot be a minus sign in the slack and surplus variables coefficient. So we have to bring a positive variable also. So what we do for this? We write plus a1, and then we equalize this by putting the equals to sign and writing 12. Understood? Simply when the constraint sign will be greater than, we will first deduct this variable with represented by s, that will be called the surplus variable, and with it we will add the artificial variable. Okay. And then we write the general constraint, that is x1, x2, s1, s2 and a1. Now also we will write a1 greater or equals to 0. And now we formulate the objective function, reformulate the objective function. So what will happen to the objective function? Here we as usual, like the simplex method, we write 0s1 and 0s2, but with the artificial variable now we will put a big M here and we put a minus sign. We deduct this artificial variable by multiplying it with a big M value, so that when we deduct the entire MA1, it does not hamper the original objective function. Okay. So what is our rule? We write the original one, that is still 3x1 plus 2x2. After that we follow the simplex method by writing 0s1 and 0s2, but with a1 we put a minus m. Okay, so that it does not hamper the original objective function. So this becomes our new objective function. Now let us proceed. Now the next steps are going to be exactly same like the simplex method. Only this basis is going to change. This is the crucial step. Okay, here the basis will no longer be s1 and s2. It will be s1 and a1, because a1 had a positive sign in the constraint function. So it will be a1. and corresponding to it the coefficients will be 0 and minus 1. We write 0 and minus 1, and here also we write the variables x1, s2, s1, s2 and a1 also we will write now, because all these variables have values in the constraints. So, we write all these 3 extra variables that we have added or deducted, and at the top of it we will write the objective the coefficients of those variables from the objective function. So, you can see here we are writing 3, 2, 0 and 0, and we are writing minus m also for a, right, a1. So, here also minus m we will write, there also minus m we will write. Now, we will fill up the table by bringing the coefficients from the constraint. I am not explaining it again as I have done in the last video. So, we are bringing all the coefficients from the objective function here. Then following the same rule we will calculate zj now, but here it will no longer be 0 for all the places, because there is no 2 zeros in the basis, in the coefficient of the basis, there is a minus m. So, there will be some values. So, what will be the value? Just like the last one, last technique, that is simplest, we will multiply and add. So, we write 0 into 2 plus minus m into 12, that is minus 12m. Then 0 into 2 plus minus m into 3, that is minus 3m. Then 0 into 1 plus minus m into 4, that is minus 4m. Then 0 into 1 plus minus m into 0, that is 0. Then 0 into 0 plus minus m into minus 1, minus and minus will make plus, so there will be 1 plus m. And last one will be 0 into 0 plus minus m into 1, that is minus m. Then we will do zj minus cj. First one will be nothing because there is no value. From here we start, first one will be minus 3m minus 3, then minus 4m minus 2, 0 minus 0, m minus 0 and minus m minus minus m, so 0. So, here we will just write the zj and cj, and we try to find out the highest negative. Here there are negatives, first we saw that there are negatives, then we will try to find out the highest negative. Now, see, since m is a big value, no, so m is, if it is getting attached with the 4 and it is again getting attached with 3, then which one is going to be highest negative? It is going to be minus 4m, because 4 is more than 3. So, it will be minus 4m only. So, this is our key column, this is our key column, and the variable that is going to enter is x2. Now, which variable will it replace and enter? For that we need to calculate the last column, that is the ratio, and then find out the minimum of the ratio. So, the ratio is xb by x2. Now, x2 for the first one, xb is 2 and x2 is 1. So, 2 by 1 it will be 2. Then next one will be 12 by 4, 12 by 4, that is 3. So, 2 and 3. So, the lowest positive out of 2 and 3 is 2. So, that means S1 will be replaced by x2. And what is our key element here? This is the key column, this is the key row. So, the intersecting one, that is 1, is your key element. Okay, so this is your key element. Now, following the same technique, we will write the iteration, first iteration. In the first iteration, here S2 will be replaced, S1 will be replaced by x2. So, we are writing x2 here in the first place, and in the second place we will write a1. Now, a1's coefficient was minus m, so it will be minus m. What is the coefficient of x2? It is 2, so it will be 2. Then we fill up the table by following the rule. What is the rule? For the key row, that is this was the key row, all the old elements, that is all the old elements will be divided by the key element, that is 1. So, 2 by 1, 2 by 1, 1 by 1, 1 by 1, 0 by 1 and 0 by 1. This will be the values in the new table. So, since this denominator was 1, as the key element was 1, so the values will not change, it will remain same. Had it been different, we would have written the other different values. Now, for calculating the other row, we need to identify the key column element first. What is the key column element here? That is the element in this particular row which is present in the key column. It is 4, right? It is 4. And the key element is 1, it will going to be remain same, and the rest of the key row element will go on changing. For this place, what will be the key row element? The parallel one in the key row, that is 2. What will be the key row element for this place? It will be the parallel one which is there in the key row, that is 2. What will be the key row element for this place? It will be the one which is parallel to it and lying in the key row, that is 1. So, like this we will solve. I am showing you the rough work. You can take a screenshot and practice and do it on your own and then tally with the concept that you know. Okay. So, this is the rough calculation. After calculating all the values, we have found that these are the new row element, which are 4, -5, 0, -4, -1 and 1. Then we follow the same technique. We calculate Zj, which will be 2 into 2 plus minus m into 4, that is -4m. So, 4 minus 4m. Then will be 2 into 2 plus minus m into minus 5m, that is plus 5m plus 4. So, 4 plus 5m. Like this we did all the values. You can take screenshot or pause the video and then you try by seeing the answer, but do it on your own, then tally. Okay. And last, Zj minus Cj row will be, you can see there won't be any negative sign attached to m. Then it shows that all are positive, because m is a big value, and if there is no sign of negative, it means it is a big positive value. Okay. So, these are all positive, that means this is our optimum solution. Now, what will be the answer? There is no x1. We could not replace any basis variable with the original variable, that is x1. x2 we could enter. So, x2's correspondent result is going to be what? It is going to be the xb's. So, x2 will be 2, but x1 is not there. So, x1 will be 0. Then what will be the value of z? It will be 3 into, it was 3 into x1 plus 2 into x2. So, it will be 3 into 0 plus 2 into 2, that is 4. 4 will be our answer. Okay. Thank you. You can solve it on your own and then tally by pausing the videos. Okay. Bye bye.